Okay, I'm joined now by Shané Harris, Vice President, Head of Social Responsibility and Partnerships at Prudential Financial, and also the President of the Prudential Foundation, Anthony Smith, Executive Director of the Lincoln Park Coast Cultural District, and Jeremy Johnson, Executive Director of Newark Arts. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Well, we'll jump right in. Shané, first question for you. Prudential has called Newark home for many years, over 140, and has really shown a commitment to creating new cultural spaces and that celebrate Newark's, vibrant art community. Why is it so important to the organization?
Well, Mark, we're from Newark, and while we're a global business and company, Newark is our best investment, and we are fundamentally committed to inclusive economic growth in the city. And what that means to us as an anchor institution is how do we make sure as investment comes back to cities, and there's a lot of focus on revitalizing the physical space, that we ensure that residents are able to enjoy in that economic growth and continue to move up the economic ladder. And art, in many ways, is a critical driver for social change and community building. We know that the mural series will really help to kind of uplift the narrative that residents have for the city in all the neighborhoods and not just the downtown area. This really speaks to the broader commitment that the Grammy Museum has in just celebrating all aspects of art and music in the city. So we're glad to be a part of this project because we do feel like it represents empowering residents, empowering artists to shape the narrative of the city, which is critically important as we think about inclusive economic growth here.
That's great. And Anthony, similar to Prudential's commitment, creating a comprehensive arts and cultural district in the central ward of Newark has been a focus of Lincoln Park Coast Cultural Districts for many years now. How does this project build upon that goal?
Well, my professional and personal travels have blessed me to travel all over the world, whether it's Brazil, Cuba, Africa. And while studying abroad or even working in New Orleans, the one thing that is in common thread throughout these journeys is the power of arts. Arts and community, economic development, and the use of arts in healing. When I was tapped to lead Lincoln Park Coast Cultural District, I built upon the foundation of our former executive director, Baye Wilson, and the founding board member of the late Amiri Baraka, who knew well that the arts was a gateway to open a door into communities that are resistant and mistrustful of authority, police, and institutions. Lincoln Park is a nonprofit organization engaged in a practice of creative placemaking and creative placekeeping. In order to build a whole, healthy community, we leverage the arts, yes, but that also infuses our sustainable living community, which is access to fresh produce, dealing with pathways out of poverty, getting out the vote, all the different platforms that we cover that draws us to this underserved, forgotten community that's on the fringe and a platform for service providers and partners to do work and collectively to work together. You need more than just brick and mortar in a community to develop a community. Arts is our gateway. It's been at the forefront of what we've been doing to connect the community. We always envisioned having a walkable community that tells the history and song visually through public art, through dance, and through a celebration of life. As culture brokers in Newark, our goal has been to create a walkable community that tells the story of our history as African Americans and our contributions. We envisioned a neighborhood filled with public art, cafes, creative businesses, with the goal to build a creative economy in Lincoln Park footprint, which we call cluster-based economic development. The city is a crown jewel, memorializing and having a tribute to Newark's own. Our superstar, Whitney Houston, with this amazing mural is a big deal. The mural was birthed out of Lincoln Park in a partnership with the city of Newark. We've been working on this for 3 years. This mural will be instrumental in contributing to our mission and vision of having a community filled with arts, artisans, and that will brand the city of Newark and Lincoln Park and the surrounding areas as a tourist destination. So we're really excited that this is happening and all the pieces are coming together.
It's great. Jeremy, Newark Arts, of course, is the anchor for the arts community here. What does it mean for your organization to see this, this great piece of art come to life, honoring one of Newark's greatest artists, of course, Whitney Houston?
Thanks so much for having me, Mark. It's great to be here. This mural, and it's more than a mural, this is really going to be a major high point in the history of Newark as a place where public art is front and center. And at Newark Arts, our mission is to power the arts to transform lives. And I think what we see in this work of art is it truly will be transformative. Of course, as my colleagues have pointed out, you can't get any better than Whitney Houston. But it's more than that. It's about the partnerships that this represents, the partnerships of our age-old friend in Prudential, and our partnership with Lincoln Park Coast Cultural District, which is part of this district. But what it means for us is that this city will have a major internationally renowned artist recognized with roots in the city that was created by a local artist that is in a local community that is really experienced a rebirth despite the pandemic, that will allow people to get out and experience art and open air in a very safe way, which is so important during this during the current pandemic. Public art allows people to get out, enjoy art, enjoy cities, and experience the vitality of what makes our urban experience so exciting. So we couldn't be happier. This is going to be a true high point. We're thrilled to partner with the Grammy Museum and Prudential to make this happen and more happen in the future, because we know there's more ahead. So we're just excited to be here and a partner to invest in the arts and to invest in our communities.
We're certainly glad to have you as a partner, as always. Anthony, back to you. Lincoln Park Coast Cultural District has a longstanding commitment to utilizing music to transform the community, obviously through your annual music festival. What is it about music and this city that's so powerful, the combination?
That's a great question. Newark has a rich history of so many notable music giants. Sarah Vaughan, you have James Moody, Wayne Shorter, Queen Latifah, and of course, Whitney Houston, to name a few. Black people have always used music as a way through, a way up, and a way out from under, since we were enslaved. Historically, music has been a tool to heal and comfort us through good and bad times. Like now, we're just coming off a 2-week virtual festival, the Lincoln Park 14.2 Virtual Soul. And during that festival, we celebrated one of Newark's own, with Dionne Warwick, a Lincoln Park resident, Susu Bobian, who sung "We Are Climbing Jacob's Ladder," one of the oldest songs in history that slaves sang in the fields. We as people have always been creative through song, our voices, even when we had nothing else. Coming out of the upheaval of the 1967 Newark uprising through the 80s, what we call some in the community called the crack era, Lincoln Park community has sustained its musical history, and it wasn't buried in the ashes. We created the annual music festival to shift the image and brand of the historical Lincoln Park area. Early on, we were Smithsonian affiliates and created the initial plan to build a Museum of African American Music in Lincoln Park, here in the city of Newark. Understanding that it does not work with the thought of build it and they will come, we realized we needed to change the trajectory of the brand and image of Lincoln Park and the community and the city of Newark with homage to its musical history. Music is so powerful. It transcends through multiple ethnic groups and cultures, and it's intergenerational. Understanding the power of music, we looked at all the great entertainers that were from Newark, and that's what's near and dear to our hearts, and what was near and dear to the hearts of Newarkers, and we created the Lincoln Park Music Festival. We've grown from having 2,000 to over 50,000 people coming over two weekends, and we're very excited because this music has been our tool through creative placemaking to get people to come back and get them in the streets and coming to Newark.
Yes, I've had the pleasure of being there to see some of it. It is fantastic, and everyone should definitely check it out. I'll come back to you, Shané. Prudential, of course, is committed and focused on revitalizing the city. How does this project and the Grammy Museum Experience Prudential Center mural series together, how does it help towards that goal?
Thanks, Mark. So you know that we're a global company and invest in work at a national and also invest in projects outside of the United States. But Newark by far is our best investment. We as a company have committed as an anchor institution really to work with others to drive inclusive economic growth in the city. And what that means is that as cities kind of expand economically, as been an increased investment in cities, that we want to make sure that our city in Newark ensures that people are able to thrive along with the cities and that they're not displaced, that they're able to continue to go up an economic ladder, and that if we look at economic growth in an inclusive way, it includes not only the revitalization of physical space, but also the support of the people that are rooted in the community. And art is a critical driver for social change and community building. So we see the connection to this work and this partnership as part of that overarching vision that we have on inclusive economic growth. We know that the murals series will bring beauty to the wards and the Newark neighborhoods, but also reflect the pride and cultural narrative of the people, of the residents. And we also know that, this is augmented by, expansive work that the Grammy Museum does in the experience, Prudential Center, and how we're really lifting up, the power of art and music as part of that narrative. So we're really glad to be a partner with this. And I think, these types of kind of community building events are really important to reflect the why we're doing it and the outcome, which is ultimately that residents thrive and can celebrate and continue to have economic growth in this city.
For sure. Jeremy, Newark Arts' goal is to power the arts to change lives in the community of Newark. How is art, whether it's music, paintings, murals, what have you, how is it changing lives today?
That's a great question. Let me talk about the numbers just for a moment. We know from research that we've done with Americans for the Arts, before COVID, there were over 5,000 jobs in the nonprofit arts industry just in Newark alone. I'm not talking about the surrounding communities that contribute. So 5,000 nonprofit arts jobs, and they were contributing $187 million to our economy every year. That's quite a bit, and it was actually growing. Newark was just named for the third year in the top 10 of arts vibrant cities by the Center for Arts Research at Southern Methodist University. And that's, they certainly don't have any bias towards Newark, but we were in the top 10 for the third year before COVID. So I say all that to say, the arts, creative industries are part of the economy. They're employing people, they're employing artists, they're employing small arts organizations, nonprofits, for-profit businesses. They are part and parcel of why Newark is so special, why people want to live and work and play in Newark. So part of what we do is to really promote that, both on a macro level with the statistics about the economics, but also the soulful part of this, where you're moved by a mural such as this beautiful Whitney Houston mural, or you're moved by a gallery experience, or by the Newark Arts Festival, which happens every October. It makes the city vibrant and place. And when you mix that with the small businesses and the restaurants and the street life, we hope, and I know that we will get back to that time again, because that's what's going to keep folks in the city and bring them back to the city. It's art and culture. Such a powerful economic driver. And we stand behind that. We really promote paying artists. I'm proudly say that. We encourage folks to buy art, to take it in. So when you see this mural, look up the artist who created it. There is so much art to be taken in. As Anthony pointed out, the Lincoln Park Festival, where you are just listening to the best of house music, of jazz, of soul, R&B, where Newark has such a rich history. And we need to promote the artists that make that happen. So part of Newark's job, our job, is to make the case for the arts, make the case for the investment by wonderful private partners such as Prudential, by others, but also by our public sector's partner. And I must quickly add, we couldn't do this work if it were not for our fearless mayor, a guy by the name of Raz Baraka, who himself is an artist and has really put his work as an artist right in front of his work as a leader. And we're so proud of his championship, all the arts and culture that are in this town.
That's great. And what a novel concept, paying artists. Who would have ever even thought of it? That's amazing. Anthony, back to you. What excites you most about having this mural of such an iconic figure like Whitney from Newark right here in the Central Ward?
Well, first, I'm excited to have my partners on this conversation. Prudential, who was one of the first to fund Lincoln Park Coast Cultural District when we first started in the Mary Puryear years, and Jeremy, who has been, I'm like, we're in each other's back pockets, working together to make sure that we champion the arts. Newark was home to Savoy Records, who recorded jazz, rhythm and blues, and gospel. Greats like Miles Davis made some of his early recordings here in Newark. We are a city of historical houses of worship, but the Drinkard Singers is what comes to mind for me. Singers were an American gospel singing group, most successfully in the 1950s, and important to the careers of the great Whitney Houston, Dionne Warwick, and Dee Dee Warwick. A stone throw away from downtown Newark is New Hope's Baptist Church, right here in the Central Ward. The bedrock of the community was where my grandparents and myself attended church, where the Drinkard Singers got their start. When I think of Newark from a historical context, I think about the coast. This was coined by the late Amiri Baraka, who wrote about this area in Newark that was popular during the 30s and the 50s. Barbara Kukla wrote about this in her book called Swing City. For Amiri, this area mirrored the Barbary Coast in San Francisco. This is where our name of our organization is derived from, the Lincoln Park Coast Cultural District. The area from Lincoln Park up through William Street was the area where many of the famous jazz nightclubs existed in Newark. As a matter of fact, Jay's Soul Food restaurant that was located on the corner of William and Halsey Street, 1 block away from where the mural is installed, once was known as Sparky Jay's nightclub. In the 30s and the 50s, Newark was revered as a destination to listen to so much music, particularly jazz, at nightclubs like Sparky Jay's, the Key Club, Sugar Hill, the Bridge Club, to name a few. The likes like Billy Eckstine, Billie Holiday, Sarah Vaughan frequent these clubs all the time. As the city of Newark continues to reimagine itself as the premier crown jewel in the state of New Jersey and the region, I'm personally excited as a native of Newark that we have collectively come together to ensure that the legacy and contributions of African Americans, Black and Brown people in the city of Newark are memorialized for generations to come.
That's great. Shané is kind of piggybacking off of what Anthony said about the organizations working together. Why is it so important for Prudential to work with great local institutions like Lincoln Park Coast Cultural District and Newark Arts?
Well, Mark, it's simply because they are backbones to the arts community in Newark. The Lincoln Park Cultural Coast District and Newark Arts have been longtime partners. And, as they have referenced, Prudential has been really proud to support the work that they're doing. And, we see our role in really kind of enabling leaders and organizations like Lincoln Park and Newark Arts who are on the front lines, really imagining and executing and supporting the arts community in the city. So supporting them helps us realize our vision and our dream and the aspirations that we have, but it also helps to elevate the voices and empowers the voices of residents and artists in this community really to define what makes Newark special. So we're just so happy to have had such a long partnership with both of these institutions, and the spirit of collaboration and co-creation in problem solving. And, you know, we are looking forward to a continued partnership with both Anthony and Jeremy.
All right, well, now I've got a fun one. So here it is. Only get to pick one for each of you. What is your favorite Whitney Houston song? And we'll start no particular order. I'll go with Jeremy.
I want to dance with somebody. That's mine. I got so many I could name. I'll pick that one.
All right, Anthony.
Mark, that's such a hard question. That's a hard question. I mean, she has 3 major albums I like: The First, The Bodyguard, and The Preacher's Wife. But I can say, I guess I have to go with the Bodyguard album, I Have Nothing.
Oh, I like that one too.
That's pretty good.
All right, Shané, maybe you'll have a different one, a tiebreaker. What do we have?
It's hard, but I think I'll go with a song that wasn't hers but became hers. Her live rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. We
Yeah.
were talking about that for weeks afterwards. So
Yeah.
I think that's just what makes her so special as an artist.
I agree, but it's I Have Nothing. Anthony's right. Sorry, I'm the tiebreaker. But you threw me with the Star Spangled Banner because that's a good one.
That's a good one. I gotta admit, Shané,
I mean, but you know,
I've watched that on YouTube 1,000 times at least.
Yeah.
Yes.
but most of her albums were actually amazing. I was going to find, I said, what song can I pick? And her first album, then The Bodyguard, that was just smashing. And then some, you know, a lot of times when maybe coming from growing up in the church, is that the Preacher's Wife album.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's awesome.
Yes. You're still right. It is I Have Nothing. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it is. I Have Nothing. Yeah.
But thank you all very much for not only taking the time to be with us today and part of this celebration, but obviously for all of your contribution to the city and for your partnership. We're grateful for it at Grammy Museum Experience Prudential Center. And thank you again. We look forward to working with you down the line as always.
All right. Thank
Great
you.
to be here. Thanks.
Having us.
Thank you.